Okay, I think we're live. Good evening and welcome to Emergency Hedge. This is the channel
Uh,
where Jessica teaches me Netrunner.
and Dave teaches me Arkham Horror.
Hooray!
Hooray!
How's things, Jessica?
Things are good. I've had a lovely busy week off up in Manchester seeing my partners, and I came back a couple of hours ago and made like a quick list of like rush jobs to do before I was on stream. So
Did you manage to get them all done?
I got most of them done. Some of them I was like, I can do that tomorrow morning because I forgot that sometimes you actually just need to sit and do nothing for about half an hour. So I've managed to fit that in as well. I finished my rewatch of Succession during that half an hour, so it was very relaxing to watch all of the billionaires being horrible bastards to each other.
That's one of the many shows I have not seen but would like to.
I think it's an acquired taste, but like if you like watching people trapped in miserable hell constructed of their own vanity, selfishness, and psychopathy, then it's the show for you. If not, and I could understand why it might not be, then it's not really the show for
I
you.
sometimes enjoy that. I think, yeah, it depends on the person, but
Oh yeah,
when that
like they're all
happens to
very
people,
hateable.
when it happens to people who you kind of think deserve it, then that's
Yeah.
kind of okay. In real life, I'd
Right.
prefer them to be reformed characters and have a happy ending, but like that
Yeah,
doesn't actually make for
totally.
good fiction. So fine.
No, it doesn't.
How were you finding spoiler season?
Really good. Like we've had some like cards. There've been so many cards that on their own, I feel like blow the entire meta wide open. And we're going to talk about some of them tonight. We're not going to talk about all of them tonight, but they're like I said, cards that on their own, I feel changed the game quite radically.
Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
I have a lot. Yeah, I've been keeping more or less on tabs with it. I think like this morning I woke up and I'm partly thinking about us talking about them this evening. I realised that there'd been so many I was starting to lose track of them. But I have really enjoyed it. There've been a lot of stuff that's been very exciting. I feel that the design is quite close to the wind in some ways. Like I think there's stuff that I'm like, this is either going to be amazing or a bit broken. And
I'd really love to hear actually what card you think is
you put me on the spot.
am.
One of the cards we're going to talk about today, possibly. We've seen a bit more court precursion. So there's a corporate hospitality, I think, is a court precursion card, isn't it? Which is one of the HB cards.
Yeah.
We've seen a fair bit of bypass. Nothing that looks completely broken. I think a couple of the cards we're talking today might be candidates, and let's talk about them in their turn. I will flag them up. Do you agree with that assessment, or do you think it's all going to be fine?
I think recursion is one of those sort of like original sins of card games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it definitely can break a game, and archive memories is banned for a reason.
Yeah.
And it usually enables some other card to be way more powerful than it should be, and breaks balance in sort of weird and interesting ways. But I can't remember enough about corporate hospitality. I think it installs something from archives, right?
You see the returning. I think it returns a couple of cards and does something else, maybe a little bit of money as well.
And I've got it up here. Yeah. As an additional cost to play this operation, spend a click, gain 6 credits, and draw 2 cards. Add 1 card from archives to HQ, and it costs 4 to play. It costs 4 to play and 2 clicks. Okay, yeah, I think it could be broken. It's trashable. That's an important thing here.
Yeah, it's not. Trashable. I'm like, there's my sense from the reviews I saw of it, particularly on Daily Cast, was that it's intended to be an unbroken version of archive memories. And certainly they've addressed some things there. The fact that it's a double, the trashability.
I think oddly, even the fact it draws 2 cards, because sometimes as the corp you don't want to be drawing cards.
Yeah,
I think almost especially as HB, you often know exactly what you want to install this turn, and you're happy with everything where it is. You don't want HQ to suddenly get like, especially with a double. If you do draw 2 cards with a double, you've then only got 1 click to do something about it if both of those cards are agendas.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've probably got an overpacked HQ because you've also added a card to HQ from archives.
That is a very good point. Shall we talk about the cards that we selected to chat about? Actually, I think I can just do that. I'm just going to check that we've got sound coming through on the stream. Bear with me a minute.
Sam, why it might not be, then it's not really the show.
I sometimes enjoy that.
It's a throwback to our bygone era almost. So we've been fine for sound many weeks in a row now, but it'll be the week that we don't check.
Yeah.
Where
I completely agree. We're good for sound. I don't know whether you could hear that, but I could hear us.
I couldn't, no. I'll try and get it so that I'll be able to see if we get any.
Our first cards that you picked to talk about is See How They Run. Do you want to read it out? Can you see well enough to read them out?
Yes,
I'm happy to read them all if you can't.
I can see absolutely fine. So it's a 4-2 agenda, it's Jinteki 4-2 agenda, and it's a Psi security agenda. Those things don't often matter very much, but very occasionally they do. When you score this agenda, give the runner 1 tag. Play a Psi game, and I love playing a Psi game. And it explains what the Psi game is. If the bids differ, do 1 core damage. If the bids match, do 1 net damage. So 1 net damage is your baseline. A tag and 1 net damage is your baseline for this. And actually, usually, it will do a tag and a core damage, which I would play this in my horrible evil shell game deck. I genuinely would.
I thought of that deck when I saw this.
Yeah. That deck doesn't want to be playing 4-2, like generally ever. But I would play this because on the odd occasion I can get it out, it's probably going to do a core damage, and doing even 1 core damage across the course of that kind of game changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, this is a card that makes me feel a little bit on the edge about, in terms of how safe it is. Like, if you score this and then play End of the Line, and you're doing that in PE, that's 6 damage, right?
Yes. Yeah, and
obviously that's a combo, but it's you're doing all of that damage on your turn, so the runner needs some way
of removing tags
outside of their turn, outside of their turn of removing tags or getting above hand size.
You also need to have a click left to play End of the Line.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I mean, so to be clear, you would want to have this double advanced, right? But if this is double advanced at the start of your turn, advance, End of the Line is a 6 damage play. Okay.
And I can totally see. So you mitosis this out, and I've had plenty of board states as an evil shell game Jinteki player. The reason I love mitosis as a card is because a lot of the time the runner won't run either of them. The runner will go, okay, you do whatever it is you're doing over there. I don't really care. This almost says you do have to care, because I could have End of the Line in hand. I could, and if that's the case, I can double advance next turn and End of the Line you, and that's it.
Yeah.
Barring various different ways out of that particular conundrum. Let's do some quick math. Mitosis costs 3. 4/5 to advance it. You cannot do this. Can you do this on turn 1? You could do that. You could do this on your second turn. You could kill the runner on your second turn with this, presuming you had the right other econ stuff. Overall, I think it's a 9 credit play. If I remember right, end of the line costs 4 to play.
How come second turn?
So you can do it on your first
yeah,
turn.
you mitosis first, right? Mitosis,
Yeah.
advance, end of the line. So it's four clicks.
Yeah. And you also need to do it's 4 clicks. Mitosis costs 2. Advance, end of the line gets you to 5.
Yeah.
So you have 1 click left to play a sure gamble or something, sort of hedge fund or something to get you the money that. Because by my reckoning, it's a 9 credit play.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what you get on the side game in this.
No, it doesn't.
In this with this play.
Yeah, and we know they're not banning PE because we saw the ban list.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, part of me when I saw this thought, outside of really really grim combos like that I hope won't turn the game really unpleasant to play for a little while. We'll have to see how things pan out. I struggle to see how this ability has traction without damage grindy kind of deck. So I deduce from this that we will see a near print 2 PE in Dawn. That's my prediction.
Yeah. This seems like it's not very useful outside of that kind of deck.
Yeah.
I've said before, I don't like the kind of deck that tries to deck the runner out, but I think it's perfectly legitimate to try and kill the runner with net damage.
Yeah.
During the game, even through shell game stuff. Like, I maintain my deck that I played at Worlds is a lot more beatable than my score at Worlds suggests it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to have fun with this. Lots of people are going to get really irritated.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm not saying they shouldn't have done it, or I'm not excited about it. I am excited about it. It looks fun.
There will be times when people get this side game wrong and quit on JNAT because they're like, okay, I can't win. Like, that's a thing that will happen.
Yeah.
It also sort of forces you into playing 3-4-2s in your deck if you want to play this, and that's not a place that he usually wants to be in. So I do think it's balanced in that regard.
Yeah. Let's move on. Oh, baby.
This is disgusting.
I love it.
This is a disgusting piece of ice.
I forget now whether we are. Yeah, we've got that fine. This is a disgusting piece of ice. I love it. I really love it. Obviously the snake's cute. Please squeeze me to death. I love you. It's all good. But it's an absolute banger of a card. I mean, that on encounter. I can't get my head around that on encounter text. I mean, that's got to be, even though it's the runner's choice, it's got to be the worst on encounter text that we have in the game.
So it's when the encounter ends, which is kind of even worse in a lot of ways. Because bypass says, I don't give a shit about your bypass. This is happening anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the other two classically awful on encounter texts are both Ninteki Ice, to my knowledge. Sice and Tan, which is really bad if you take damage from the subroutines, and Anansi, which is really bad if you don't break the subroutines. This is just really bad. Like, you've got 3 really shit options. Choose one, but they're all.
I'm gonna make the argument that no, you are right. I was gonna make the argument that it's better than Anansi because Anansi only has one option on it.
Yeah.
This one you can be like, well, I don't mind taking these tags. And we know that there is a runner coming out who might specifically want to take the tags in certain situations. 2 is a lot of tags to take.
Yeah, I mean the runner wants to take 1 tag generally, and not often more. But yeah, I agree. If you're playing Seb, I think that's obviously the choice you take. There are options, but they're grim options, and
Yeah.
that's it. You know, obviously it's only once rather than every time you run through it. So to some extent, it's once. It's really horrible once probably, unless there's some a sane amount of money, you know, on the corp side, and they're re-resing it for reasons.
Yeah.
But by God, that's harsh, and it's like it's. I think it's you know, if you stumble into this and you can't break it, I think you probably lost the game in a single encounter.
I think that's true. There was Laser Pointer came out in the last set that nobody plays. And I
Yeah.
think I don't know if you can get it up on NRDB. Like, it's seen absolutely no play
Oh yeah,
whatsoever.
I'll get it
Because
up.
why would you?
Yeah. Is it laser with a Z like the Americans do it?
I cannot remember.
Let's try. Do the Americans do it that way? No, it's with an S.
No, it's
Maybe
spelled properly.
I assume the Americans would do it with a Z.
Okay. No, so this is shit against it.
It's
This
still
is not
really
what you
bad.
wanted.
It's still like it's still
yeah.
the on encounter effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we were discussing the other week, you can do things like fun little things and stuff like Capybara. I think Laser Pointer Capybara might be like a really interesting combo versus that. But you're still spending Capybara to cost the corp 10 credits. 10 credits is a lot. They can't keep doing it.
Yes. I'm just looking at the rulings here. So Laser Pointer Capybara would switch off the unencounter text. It wouldn't resolve.
It wouldn't resolve because I imagine it would be the same as with Anansi.
Yeah, they've got a ruling about Anansi here, and I could be wrong, but I would be very surprised to find that the two work differently, because that's not a very intuitive way for a game to be structured.
So I love the idea of this little capybara eating the snake. I don't know if they do that in nature.
It's still good.
Really cool.
It's still good.
It's good either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big, gross piece of ice. I think it's properly costed.
Yeah, I like that it's to some extent mitigated by the fact that it's unique as well. Like, I think that makes for
I hadn't even noticed that.
Yeah, really interesting gameplay situations. Like, if this is rezzed somewhere on the board, you can be relatively certain you're not going to run into it elsewhere, barring de-res tricks, of course.
They can trash it to res another one, because you can do that. The tier is also a 10 cost unique piece of ice.
So they could res it and that would trash this. Yeah, of course, that's how it works, doesn't it?
Yeah. And there are board states where you would do that. And there are board states where the runner would be happy for you to do that. And it's still fascinating. I think it's more fascinating without that certainty, in fact.
Yeah. I was thinking that they would need a de-res trick of some sort to make that happen, but yes, of course, that's not the case. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I don't think Jinteki has any de-res tricks inherent. That's an HB thing. And so I do actually suspect you might see this out of the new HBID sometimes.
Quite possibly,
they like to res and
it's a destroyer as well, which is relevant to the new HBID.
Yeah.
Yes, the deck we'll be playing a bit later uses a few of those tricks a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll chat about that when the time comes. But yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I like it and I'm scared of it, and that's probably the appropriate reaction.
Yeah, totally.
Charlotte.
Just lovely. It's just lovely. It's the econ that Jinteki needs, frankly.
I was so happy when you messaged me this afternoon and said you're excited about the Jinteki cards, because I was just like, all of these cards, I'm just like, oh man, this of all the factions is the one that's been the most sort of behind and sad, and it's got some real crackers, some absolute bangers.
Yeah. I like.
We've stopped reading out these cards, Jessica, which is probably
sorry.
bad form.
Yeah, that is a terrible form.
Shall I do this one?
Yeah, go for it. We got so excited about the last one.
It's just like a snake. Oh, hell, the snake. This is Charlotte Casador, a zero-cost Jinteki asset, subtype clone. You can advance this asset. When your turn begins, you may remove one hosted advancement counter to gain 4 credits and draw 1 card. And you can trash it at instant speed and spend a hosted advancement counter to gain 3 credits. And she says, they offered me a desk job, but damn it, I just love working in the field. And 2 credits to trash. You were gonna wax lyrical about Charlotte. Please do.
This is a shell game card. It just is. Like it's a nice shell game card as well because you get the value off it kind of regardless.
Yeah.
It's the sort of card I'd be really happy to mitosis this out. And worst comes to the worst, I get 3 credits back.
Yeah.
Or there are also board states where you would say, okay, if you want to spend 2 credits trashing this, go ahead, because 2 credits isn't nothing. It's not. NGO fronts, I think 0. Is it 0 to trash? Is it 1 to trash?
Let's try. Let's check. It's cheap. It's certainly cheap. 1 to trash.
1 to trash. Yeah. But I think you would usually, if it's got an advancement counter on it, you take the 3, I think, rather than making the runner spend 2, because core credits are just fundamentally worth more. But there's all the other stuff you can do, like if you've got counters on here. I'm going to stop myself. I was going to say if you've got counters on here, you can use it as a trick of light battery. But I feel like this is kind of a must run.
Yes.
For the runner.
Yeah. I like both that you can use it, as you've said, it's a shell game card and just like see if they come. Worst comes to the worst, you get 3 credits out of it, which is a bit less than you would with NGO, but it's still even if you've spent a click to put it down and spent a click to advance it, you're maybe slightly worse off, but it's not a terrible play. And you still get something out of it. Or if it's got 2 counters on it, you're really laughing, and the runner really wants to get rid of it, even though you're going to then get 7 credits and a card if they didn't run it immediately. And I really like that you can put it in a remote, and it's so good for you, the runner really has to come after it. Like, they can't see you getting, net 3 credits and a card for a click every turn. If you put it in with that
Lacosta grid,
it's a free 4 credits and a card every turn, which is just, they have to come through your remote, which probably has a snake on it. And they're in a world of pain, and they just have to do it, because otherwise the tempo is just too good for you.
The Atea Lacosta kind of synergy deck has never quite come together, and I think this might be the card that makes it really.
Agreed. I like it for all those reasons. I think it's a really, really nice design. I like it a hell of a lot more than like NGO front. I don't think that's just because it's in a faction and new. Like, I think it's just neater. The fact that instead of them running it disappears, and that's the end of the interesting effects of the card. But actually, I think it's just much more meaty all round.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and look, Jinteki always needs econ. It's a must run. You'd pinhole this if you had to. But it's not. I also don't think it's overpowered. Like, if this goes off for a couple of turns, you've not lost the game. It's bad.
Yeah.
But they do need to keep charging it. The corp needs to keep charging it. I very much agree. It's much more interesting than NGO front.
Yeah.
Which just is one and done. And you're a bit like, oh, that was an NGO front.
Yeah, that was a what's it, anticlimax of a run.
Whereas if this had 2 counters on it and you ran it, and then they Because they can only do the trash action once, is my reading of this. Right? So if it's got 2 counters on it, you're still only getting 3 credits.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. If this has got 2 counters on it and the runner runs it, you still get
the runner
3
feels
credits.
good about the run.
Yeah.
And the corp doesn't feel terrible about the run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is
I
think a really, really sweet spot for it to be in. Do you want to say anything about the theme on this? Did you read? It was her.
I didn't have time to read the lore, so why don't you fill me in a little bit?
I mean, somebody described this flavor text as some of the most evil text in the whole of Netrunner, and I agree. So this is one of the asset retrieval, Jinteki asset retrieval people.
Yeah.
And we had Patrick Sklar's piece of fiction about her, where she was doing she was going after clones in a crowd during protest/riots, and I think she had a protege that I think was canonically Adrian Seiss, but I'm not. It's a little while ago, so not 100% certain on that. But they were using an ambulance. They were like pretending to be an ambulance going after protesters, and in fact they were lifting clones and abducting clones. But the ambulance had been spray painted with a big spider by, it's presumably Arasana, and she gets rumbled, and the crowds like basically grab her, and as she is, the story closes as she's being grabbed by the crowds, fate unknown but possibly fatal. She's thinking about what a good graffiti artist presumptive Arasana was, and how clever that was, which I think was a really nice ending for several reasons. Firstly, because it's underlining one of the main themes of this set, which is our trans runner is fucking awesome and we all love her. But also I think it's like quite a interesting thing for a psychopath to be thinking about as they possibly die. is like how well the person who outsmarted them has done, and what a good job they did, rather than thinking about their impending doom and that kind of thing.
That's definitely what a psychopath would be thinking about, because by definition a psychopath does not give a fuck about.
So that's Charlotte. I mean, she's an awful person. Like she could have gone into middle management in Atea asset retrieval, but she likes abducting people and taking them to be killed too much. What a lovely person. What a great card.
I do love playing Jinteki. They're all evil corporations, but Jinteki's got a strong claim to being the most evil.
For sure. Should we move on to the next card?
Yes.
Your turn to read, I think.
Yeah. So this is Sisyphus Protocol, which I think is wonderfully named. It's a security agenda. It's a 5/2. And you don't see a lot of 5/2s, but I think it's a 5/2 with a reason. The first time each turn the runner passes a resed code gate or sentry, you may pay 1 credit or trash 1 card from HQ. If you do, the runner encounters that ice again.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean this is like this snake plus this. If a single face check into the snake isn't fatal, if this is knocking around as well, my goodness, it's pretty much game over, right?
Yeah,
there are exceptions, but it's if you're not dead, you should probably concede time.
Yeah, I mean, like presumably you've chosen to take 4 tags. That's almost always what I would. So you've not taken 6 net damage, probably.
You've basically oppoed yourself.
Yeah, you've oppoed yourself mid-turn, which is a bad time to have oppoed oneself.
Basically.
And you've probably... I
just love the idea of doxing yourself to these fucking absolutely merciless corporations.
And you've presumably had to spend you've either had to eat those subroutines, in which case you are definitely dead, or you've had to spend an absolute fortune breaking them all twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that said, it's a 15 credit play. and then you need to be able to do something with the situation you've created from that 15 credit play.
Yeah. And there's a counterplay, which is pass a different code gate or sentry before going anywhere near Snake Eyes.
That's true.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Also, once again, our little friend Capybara laughs at this.
Yeah.
Because runner effect happened first.
Yeah.
So
I think it's cool.
I think it's cool as well.
I hope it gets play despite being a 5/2. I hope it doesn't get too much play.
I hope it doesn't get too much play. I'm just thinking through the Capybara interaction. I think if you Capybara, the thing that you pass, you can't do this. The corp can't make this happen, but the condition for it has been met. Has it? No, because it's no longer a res code gate or sentry because you've de-resed it. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask my rules, my person who works in OP, Lou, to give me an answer on that.
I think you might be right. Yeah, it's so you bypass it. First, who's got priority during a run?
The runner has priority during the run.
Yeah. So I think the Capybara, I assume you pass and bypassing are
that bit I'm
essentially
certain
the same
about.
trigger. So I
that
think
bit I'm absolutely certain about, that the corp can't spend a credit to make you hit it again.
Yeah.
The bit I'm not certain about is if the condition has now been met, so the corp can't do it again for the rest of the turn.
I don't think.
Do you see what I mean?
I don't think so, because they haven't passed res code gate or sentry, have they? Or have they?
I don't know. Dave. It's a mystery of Netrunner.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a moment where they have passed a res code gate or sentry where this condition is met, but the runner's thing kicks in first, so they de-res it? So
yeah,
now you can't do this because you can't encounter a de-resed piece of ice.
It's a good question.
It's a really good question, and I'm going to annoy my friend with it because I think it's a really difficult question.
Please update us on the stream. I think there's not. I think there's a single trigger, and the runner gets to do their thing first, and
and kind of cancels this for the whole of the turn. That's what I think.
I'm just going backwards and forwards. So I don't know, but anything further to say on this? I think interestingly, this is quite relatively straightforward. It's just potentially gross.
Yeah, potentially gross. I actually really hope that Capybara does fuck it over, because I want Capybara to be good.
Me too. I would be so glad. Cool. Let's move on.
I'm going to ask my friend really quickly.
Sure. I would like to just have a very quick chat about Phyrazum Entangler, which is a zero-cost criminal program with the virus and Trojan subtypes. Install only on a piece of ice. Whenever you encounter host ice, if it is not a barrier, you may pay 1 credit for each subroutine it has if you do bypass that ice. When the corp purges virus counters, trash this program. I just think it's a nice little bit of Mercury tech. I think it's a it feels like a well-balanced piece of bypass tech.
Yeah.
I like that it's complementary with is it Kurapir? It's Kurapir, isn't it? The
yes.
The criminal fractor that gets counters, and you can spend the counters to bypass barriers.
Yes. Why? Sorry. Why is it?
Well, maybe complementary is slightly the wrong word. They do different things, right? That does barriers. This does non-barriers. Between them, you have
between them you can bypass
tools to address both. Yeah. I
think there's a very attractive Mercury build coming out of these cards.
Yeah, I think so. I don't have much further to say on it than that.
It would be lovely to play out of Arasana. I don't think you pay 3 influence for it. That's what I would say about it. It would be really nice, but I'm not paying 3 influence for something that I'm probably going to want as a one-of in my deck, and I'm not getting huge value out of, really.
Yeah. There have been. I'm not going to be talking about all of them today, but there were some good tutoring cards that are quite synergistic with Arasana released today, which might make it slightly more appealing to have this as a one-off. I think people have made the point you can't the gallery card, was it, where you take your stuff back? Vermissage?
Yes.
Urban Art Vermissage is non-virus Trojans, so you can't move this with that card.
That's very important. That's another reason you wouldn't play this out of Arasana, because she loves her Urban Art Vermissage. It kind of makes those decks really sing.
Yeah.
To the point where Corpse will trash their own ice so that you can't use Urban Art Vermissage. It's a really funny image. Like the Corpse being like, we can't have all this graffiti around here. Just destroy the lot of it.
Yeah, it's a happy ending for everyone, that. But yeah, I just wanted to give that a little shout out because it's nice. This is kind of like for the same reasons. Do you want to read this one though, and I'll mutter about it?
So it's Lycian Multi-Munition. It's a mythic ice, and we have seen these before, but not for a very long time. And it's a destroyer. When you res this ice, choose one or more subtypes amongst the barrier, code gate, and sentry. This ice gains the chosen subtype while it remains resed. When the turn ends, deres this ice. If this ice is a code gate, the runner loses a click and a credit. If this ice is a sentry, trash 1 installed program. If this ice is a barrier, gain 1 credit and end the run.
I think this is really fun.
It's really fun, isn't it?
Lots of things I like about it. I think that I like that you have to pay for every turn, but every time you use it, it can be a bit different. I really like it as an early piece of ice where you can mix and match the subtypes to fit and counter what icebreakers the runner's got out.
Yeah. There was a piece of ice way back in the day called Chimera, which I think did something very similar, if I've not misremembered. There was a whole,
I think you're totally right. I think you're totally right. I think this is a call out to it as well in the art. I think the 3 animals are the elements of the mythical chimera.
Yeah. Chimera, sorry, not Chimera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a nice kind of gear check piece of ice that remains gear checky for quite a while.
Exactly.
Albeit expensively so.
Yeah. And I quite like it in HB, like, for I think a PD deck or another deck where you don't have a lot of ice. The fact that this can be any of the 3 types and is a single deck slot, I think is quite a neat little aspect to it as well.
Absolutely.
That's what I want to say. I think it's good.
And it's a destroyer which I think syncs well with the new ID.
It does. Yeah. So with it gets an extra subroutine all the time, doesn't it? Because that ID's ability is on the turn that it's resed.
Yeah. So this will constantly have that and plus 1 strength as well, I think.
I think that's the case.
So,
yeah.
Great.
Not sure about the missiles. Null signal games, when you're commissioning art, if you have missiles on, please give me a shout. I know a bit about missiles. These are a bit wrong. But nonetheless, good job.
Good job otherwise.
Good job otherwise. Should we move on?
Yes, please.
Sudden Commandment. So this is an MBN 1 cost event operation. Sorry, it's got the mandate subtype. Draw 2 cards. You may play 1 non-terminal operation from HQ. Threat 3. If this operation is the first mandate you played this turn, you may pay 3 credits to gain a click. This ability is active if any. Sorry, that's what threat means. And it's 2 cost to trash.
This seems like good value.
Yeah, I think
It
so.
seems
This is one of my this might be broken cards.
yeah, this could be broken.
I'm not saying
Uh,
definitely. It's it's got some bits and bobs that might mean it's not, but I
Even if you ignored everything but the threat tech,
mm,
this is biotic labor in
yes,
NBN,
yeah,
which is kind of. I mean, it's not biotic labor because you've had to spend a click, and so you don't end up with 4 clicks after you've played it. But it's close to biotic labor.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think there are some really cool combos with this, and I'm quite excited to see what they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, it seems really
yeah.
sweet, really fun. That's all.
What's next?
Oh, next up we have Descent.
I saw this card a little while ago because it was the DLC spoiler, and Not Again did an amazing job putting together a fun little puzzle for people to solve and find out all about this card.
That was a
Um,
2 by Ike thing, wasn't it?
yeah, it
I
was.
didn't do that, and I'm a bit sad.
Yeah.
Whose turn is
Yeah,
it to read?
this is your turn to read. No, it's my turn to read. Sorry. So it's Descent. It's clicking. It's 2 cost to res piece of ice. It's code gate and it's expendable. The expendable bit is that for a click and a credit, you can reveal and track this ice from HQ to draw 1 card, and then reveal up to 2 agendas in HQ and/or archives and shuffle them into R&D. When your turn begins, you may add this ice to HQ, and then it just ends the run. So code gate ends the run, which is nice. That's a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
It's very cheap to res. It's a lovely, very cheap bit of gear check ice for early in the game. I have thoughts about its expend ability, which are I suspect it will enable degenerate strategies.
Interesting. Tell me why.
Because things like drudge work and attitude adjustment tend to show up. Things that shuffle agendas back, specifically shuffle agendas back, tend to show up in like kind of degenerate decks, like horrible glacier decks, and I'm not going to try and score out. I'm just going to try and kill you type decks, which I want to talk. But
that all these terrible people play.
yeah, all the worst people in the world play. But like attitude adjustment, drudge work, a couple of other things where you're just like, no, I'm just going to keep agendas in R&D, and you can go, and I'm going to make R&D horrible to get into, and you can go for single accesses of R&D, and that's your game, or twinning access of R&D, and that's your game. Those sorts of decks, I think, are generally not hugely fun to play against. And I think that this is another piece that allows you to do the exact, because it's specifically agendas, it allows you to do exactly that. And I would argue that even it doesn't give you any money, and that's good compared to attitude adjustment and drudge work, because those both give you money.
Yeah.
But then the deck that this shows up in really only cares about shuffling the agendas away, and that to me is a little bit. I worry about. I think if I saw this rezzed early, I would groan a little bit because I suspect the deck I was playing against was going to just keep hiding their agendas in R&D.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I mentioned court percussion right at the beginning when we were talking about the maybe brokenness. Like, this is a piece of court percussion. I do really like it as a design, I have to say.
Yeah.
I
think it's.
I think you might be right about where it fits now, and I'm certainly those cards you mentioned are kind of, I feel, are like part of the collection of cards that I'm really excited to see out of the game and go on when everything rotates with Dawn. I think having this on its own rather than alongside those might be a bit nicer.
Yeah.
Might be a bit less problematic. I mean, I think this is here for the other expendable cards for my money, and Nuvem. And I think for Nuvem to be playable, I think you do need another way of fishing, particularly out of archives. Actually, I'm not sure how much the drudge work. Drudge work and attitude adjustment are both HQ and archives, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, gotcha. I like that you this had. What am I trying to say here? If you were taking this off the table and then using it for its expendable ability, the agendas probably needs to already be in your hand or in archives. And I like that you can't bring it back immediately as soon as you have a flood that you need to deal with, or agendas in archives that you need to deal with, and then play it.
Yeah.
You need to give the runner a turn and then get it back and then use it, or hold on to it and not have it being in use as an ice in case that situation arises.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can also just take it back to hand and move it around, which is nice enough on its own.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's well designed. I just worry a little bit about the kind of deck that I'm going to see it used in. It'll be some horrible, not ob, but like I think there'll be some horrible deck using the new ID that utilizes this.
Yeah. This is really gross and a tear, isn't it? I say really gross. This is loads of fun because you're double install with this, right? You take it back, install it, and you're installing two things instead of one. So like you can switch it around.
Yeah, it's got a place in a tear, definitely. That is actually really interesting. Yeah, it's definitely got a place in a tear, and it's not a huge amount of influence either.
Yeah.
You can see it as free to install in terms of clicks.
Yeah.
So obviously, it needs to be rezzed before you can do the thing that it says on it, but still. Tear often wants a cheap bit of early end the run ice, and it being a code gate is kind of ideal because it's the last thing the runner expects, except, obviously they do expect Enigma, but they'll, given a choice, they'll install a Fractor rather than a decoder and run.
You just showed me this just before stream, and I thought, wow, this is cool. Let's talk about it. Already forgotten what it does. Let's learn together. I think it's my turn to read. Is that right? Yeah. Criminal 4-cost program, taking up 1 memory slot, and it's called Malagradum. When you install this program, load 2 power counters onto it. When it is empty, remove it from the game. Whenever you encounter a piece of ice, if it's strength of 3 or less, you may remove 1 hosted power counter to bypass it. Use this ability only once per turn. Threat 4, whenever you encounter a piece of ice, you may remove this program from the game to bypass it. So threat 4 is there if you works on ice with strength higher than 3. And the non-threat ability works on ice strength 3 or less.
Yeah. Does this have a place in Padma? It's my question.
That's really cool.
I suspect it probably does.
Yeah, it's not out of the question, is it?
Because you can have it as a one-off in Padma. Because she's a shaper and she can go and find the one-of and then run archives every single turn and bypass your 1 bit of ice on archives every single turn, if that's what she wants to do. And she's got 10 other ways of adding power counters to stuff. No, not 10, but she's got other ways of adding power counters to stuff. 4 is a lot to pay for a program.
Yeah. It's a pretty decent one, though. I mean, two bypasses. How much is Inside Job is that 2 cost?
It is 2 cost.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same as Inside Job from that point of view. But Inside Job does bypass anything, whereas this only bypasses strength 3 or less stuff. and then anything a bit later in the game.
Anything that's the outermost piece of ice.
Is it always outermost?
No, but inside job is the outermost. This is
inside job is the first that you encounter.
First,
it doesn't have to be the outermost.
Yeah, the first you encounter.
Right. Yeah, you are right. Again, it's a card that's gorgeous in Mercury and kind of anywhere else apart from maybe Padma.
Yeah. I'm just, I mean, I don't, there's loads more to say about this. I'm just really happy. We were chatting about Mercury last week, and they have had a ship come in.
Yeah. And they might have even more stuff coming.
Yeah.
From rumors that I've heard. I got word back from Lou.
Yep.
So he says, I believe it works like the runner bypasses the ice, triggers conditional effects like Capybara and Sisyphus. The conditions have been met. Effects become pending. Actions go active player, and then non-active player. So Capybara effect happens first, and then the Sisyphus effect can happen, but it won't happen because the ice can't be encountered again, so the court won't bother paying for it.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
So you have effectively cancelled it for the rest of the turn, which is pretty cool.
Yes, so that was the first time a turn trigger as well. So that's
yeah. The
stocking cute South American rodents just went up again.
We're getting really deep into the weeds now, but the one kind of interesting thing with that is because the Sisyphus effect can happen, the Corp could then trash a card from HQ, which could be absolutely vital if you were running HQ and you had a snare and an agenda. You could trash the agenda and just be like, do you still want to come into HQ?
Give me that again.
Right. The Sisyphus effect does still fire.
Yes.
The Corp theoretically won't pay for it because the ice can't be encountered because it's been de-resed.
Yep.
However, one of the ways the Corp can pay for that effect is by trashing a card from HQ.
Yes.
And there are occasionally reasons why you would indeed want to trash a card from HQ during a run, particularly if it was a run on HQ.
Yep.
So that's an interesting, if this and this and this and this and this, then something kind of cool happens, which is, to me, the core of Netrunner.
Absolutely. I also thought it was just worth chatting about these two, which I feel is like a 2/3 of a suite. Copulation and Heliumphora.
Yeah. I saw these earlier in the week.
Yes. And I feel they're complementary and that they both do a similar kind of thing.
Yeah. They arguably, you're talking about recursion being a bit of a problem. Well, you can't recur a card if it's on one of these.
Yeah. I feel like we're running a little bit long on the the preview, so I'm not proposing to read through all of these. And I've got one special preview that I think you haven't seen that I want us to both look at. But I just like the design between these two. They're both programs. They're both, cost one and take up a memory slot, and they do slightly different things. The Anarch can just keep grabbing stuff, but only from archives. And the Corp has a counterplay, but it's a bit rubbish for them because they lose 2 cards. So it's like more disruptive, but there's more of counterplay, and then copulation is more precise and like it's just hitting ones, but it's also got another ability, another multi-access ability.
It turns into a legwork.
Effectively. For the presumably for the cost that the Corp can then get that card back again, or goes into archives.
But if you're about to win the game, you don't care, right?
Yeah. But yeah, let's have a look at this. Spree. I think you should read this one out, Jessica.
Okay. Spree is a 0-cost Shaper run event. It says, place 3 power counters on this event, then run any server. Hosted power counter, host 1 installed Trojan program on a piece of ice, protecting the attack server. So you're moving already installed Trojans around
Yes, 3 times in a run.
3 times. Yeah. Sick.
And it doesn't say
That's-
non-virus. It doesn't say non-virus. Like you can have.
It doesn't say non-virus.
You can have 3 botulus on other servers, play this, and go through. As long as the botulus have sufficient counters, go through all of the eyes on that server, botulusing them, and get in.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
Oh my god! I just think it's really, really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing people, fuck up some shit with this. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's a really fun card. I like the flavor text as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes an artist will be seized by the uncontrollable urge to create.
See, I saw this was spoiled on Jai's stream earlier today, and I saw it on stream. I didn't see it this close because I've cropped the screen grab and it's a little bit larger on my screen. That is in fact the frog that everyone knows and loves being painted onto a rotor turret in cyberspace.
That's so good.
It's really cool.
I love it so much.
Awesome.
We have a couple of other things we should talk about before we start building decks and playing Netrunner.
Yes.
This Saturday, day after tomorrow, Saturday the 16th, we will be doing our community spoilers, some of which will come from unexpected directions. So you should keep your eyes open and peeled, because some of them are going to be surprising. These are the spoilers that come from members of the community who aren't necessarily like big names at the moment, but we have a very, very diverse Netrunner community, and these are people who are from the more diverse parts of our Netrunner community. And it's the first year that we've officially done this. And I'm very excited about it. We have 4 of these coming out. I'm not going to say exactly where they are all coming from, but you definitely need to keep your eyes peeled.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the other?
I'm very excited about that. Yeah. And also, we are going to be guesting on the Sanguine's Daily Cast show, which is happening daily, unsurprisingly, throughout preview week. In fact, I believe it's likely to happen about 20 minutes. So apologies if we overlap a bit. I imagine we will. I will probably go and watch it once we're done streaming.
Yeah, please don't do it at the same time, Dave.
Yeah.
That will be
it wouldn't make
very
for good content. It wouldn't make for good content. But yeah, so we'll. I think we will be guesting on the final day of previews, right?
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah, hopefully they're saving some real bangers for the end. I'm looking forward to that.
I think I suspect they will be.
I think they might.
I think they might.
So that will be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that our takes will be extra spicy.
Yeah. Cool. Shall we look at this deck of yours, Dave?
Yeah. So, I mean, just to explain what we're doing today, obviously there's loads of new cards. It's really exciting, and we can't play with any of them at all just yet. We're planning to do a Netrunner stream next week, though, and play with cards then, on the assumption they're live on JNet. But it's our Corp week, and I thought it would be nice for us to look at this weird little thing that I made in the last. You can see my notes to myself there. As in the last Embers of the Dying meta, I have been tinkering with for a little while a Djupstad Express core damage rush deck in Acer Group. I'm not pretending it's really great, but I have had quite a lot of fun with it, and we might have some fun with it this evening.
Cool.
I'm not making promises. Not making promises about how much fun it will be to play against, but it's a bit of a laugh to play. So basically, this is sort of a sequel to the startup Thule deck that I was playing way back when we had Parhelion. until I got a bit sick of both things. But I have always had a lot of fun with ontological dependence and trying to do enough core damage that it basically becomes very, very quick to advance. So the idea with this deck is to give the runner 1 or 2 core damage, and then start scoring off ontologicals. Ideally, when you have already scored 1 salvo testing and or on a Djupstad grid, so that as you're scoring them, the other ones get easier to score. It's got 3 pivots in it, so that when you have either a scored salvo testing or Djupstad grid in play, you can go and fetch either some Elvegars or some ontologicals, so that you can just power through the core damage and hopefully set yourself up for quite a quick scoring of your last few agenda points, at the same time as doing lots of core damage to the runner and making their game plan harder and harder to execute because they don't have any cards in their hand.
So Pivot's a card that I'm aware is powerful, but I've not actually played with very much. Can you remind me what the text was?
Yeah. So it's a double. You spend an extra click to play it. You search R&D for 1 operation or agenda and reveal it, and you add that card to HQ. But under threat 3, you may play or install 1 card from HQ. So after threat 3, although this is a double, you get both a tutor and an install from it. And as you're in Asa, an install is in fact 2 installs.
Yes.
And one of the reasons that I like this a lot more than my Thule deck is that the one thing it really struggles with, particularly for trying to score agendas off Djupstad, which is the most reliable way of getting core damage in this deck, you really struggle to get the clicks to install things and score them. So having that as a group double install is an absolute godsend in terms of this being just a little bit more pacey than its predecessor. It's weaker on economy. So a couple of credits are going on government subsidies, so that when you do have 10 credits or more, you can really pump yourself up, because you will end up spending quite a lot to res ice. It could do, if it had more deck slots, I would put more ice in it. But this is kind of where I ended up with it. It's got splashes a couple of Tattoo Bowler because they are
kind of econ.
They're kind of econ. Again, when you do the swap, you get the double install. Which is really sweet. Obviously, there's 3 spin doctors in there, but that's all of the influence. So with the agenda suite, we've got 2 Alvagar, Luminal because it's good, Offworld because it's economy, Ontological because that's the whole point of the deck, and 2 Salvo Testing because that's about the right amount, considering they're a bit of a dog and you don't want to score more than 1, but you probably do want to score 1. Marilyn, I wish that this got trashed less often by the runner, but it's there, and I think it's probably the best asset econ for the deck.
I mean, there's an argument for Nico, because Nico's always credit positive, but Marilyn comes back. Marilyn's that little bit more expensive to trash. And in AC, you can put it behind a piece of ice and not feel too bad about it. This looks fun.
Hedge fund, 3 seamless, 1 mana gum, which is sometimes you do really need to keep the run away from your grid. 1 Vovo, who's kind of okay. Again, ideally I'd like to have a couple more of him in there, so you've got to see him more often. But this also, I was chatting about res de-res. This does a little bit of de-resing. You've got ablative barrier here, which allows you to bring back some, like particularly Djupstads or your Marilyns, if you've not had a chance to shuffle them back in again. But you've also got a Carl, which de-reses stuff, and you do definitely want to have something to de-res when the runner face checks into this early,
Yeah.
because that's another way of giving the core damage. Gatekeeper is
Is just
often happy
gatekeeper.
to be
It's
res more than
very good.
once. Magnet, again, often happy to res more than once. Boom, boom, boom. Ansel, Drafter. Yeah, that's it. Obviously, the Elvergar gives you another D-res that you can use on a couple of these cards when needed. And Vovo's obviously quite, it's quite useful if you're resing and D-resing ice more than once.
Yeah.
And he's also really great to be D-resed. It's only one. If you if you've got him on the board and he tends to stick around and move between the servers, if you need to D-res something, he's a great option for D-resing because it's only one credit to res. Ditto those spin doctors who are always very happy to re-res those. That's all.
Cool. If I was going to make one change to this deck right away, I think I'd take out one Hakal and put in an extra Drafter. Because Drafter's arguably the best ice in the game at the moment. And Hakal is expensive to res. And when it does its cool thing, it does a really cool thing. But often it doesn't do its cool thing. Whereas Drafter, at a minimum, costs an absolute fortune. And when Drafter fires, it can be game-winningly good.
I think it's worth having the Hakal in there because you do just want to put that core damage on the runner as soon as you can.
Cool. Okay.
Should we play it?
Yeah, let's play it.
Here comes the timer. Let's see if the version I've got already in JNet is the same as that.
It says V6.
It does, yeah. Yeah. I intended to tinker with it a bit today and then decided that my tinkering was going to make it worse and stopped. So I think that's right. 10, 9, 11, 7. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's play it. See what happens.
Yeah. Let's try and... Do you know what, Dave? This is your deck.
Yeah.
You ask me when you talk through your moves and ask me when you've got a question, but I'm not going to narrate every single thing I think you should do because I think that's what really slow. Like when we had our 75-minute game last week, we're taking the training wheels off. I've taught you how to play Netrunner. It's time for you to kick from the nest and fly.
Let's see whether that's the case. There's no economy in this hand, which I don't like. There's lots of ice, which I do. I think I would mulligan this and I might find it worse, but I'm going to.
Yeah. But you didn't. You found it better.
Yeah, I like that. Just give me a moment. I'm just going to move our heads to a better part of the screen. Okay. Right. So we've got 2 Hakal there. So I think I would suggest that our game is hedge fund, installing both the spin doctor and a Hakal in the remote, and then maybe a gatekeeper on one of the centrals. Who have we got? Ken, who doesn't have a preferred central himself.
I mean, you want to be worried about diversion of funds, so I think it's HQ,
yes.
even though you've got no agendas. And you want it to be something that's cheap to res, because they might fall as it.
Yep. Okay, so we want to install in the remote first, so they don't know if it's a general or not. Yeah. Draw. Interesting.
Did they mulligan? No res, I'd say.
They did a mulligan. Yeah, I agree with that.
And then res your spin doctor. Let them trash it, I think, if they want to, rather than bringing back one hedge fund. Okay. The good news is we've got lots of econ. And we've got a drafter to put on R&D.
Yeah, I really like that as an R&D play. Question is, do we want to put 2 pieces of ice on it?
On R&D?
Hmm.
We can't with Ace's ability, if that's what you're asking. Because Ace is only remotes.
Okay.
I think we probably want to draw.
No, I don't think it's only remote.
Is it not?
No.
Okay.
Definitely a spend hedge. How about we double ice? I feel maybe
you want that drafter on R&D.
Yeah. I just wonder whether we want to put 2 pieces of ice on the remote.
Sure. I'm going to not second guess your plays too much. I
Mm.
think there's value to it.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Cool.
Prepaid voice pad. Okay.
I don't think we want a 4th piece of ice on that remote.
No, definitely not. I would be tempted to draw a couple of times and then maybe install the spin doctor.
You could create a little mini remote for if you want to put a Marin in it later with the spin doctor and a magnet.
Yeah, it's not out of the question, is it?
Draw again.
Okay.
I'd chuck that Luma in the remote and not get Ace this turn and call it a day.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Cool. They've chucked away Miss Bones. I think we're quite happy at the moment.
Yeah, I like this a lot. So I think Rashida in the remote.
Yeah, and I think put a magnet in front of it. And if they...
Oh, no, I was going to put it in the server 1.
Sure.
Probably not do that, though.
Okay.
We should have done that last click.
Do you want to undo it? If you're just going to draw for the next 2, I think it's reasonable to undo.
No, I think let's set up the spin doctor with the magnet.
Okay.
That's still.
Then we definitely shouldn't have done it. We should have done it the other way around, Dave, so that we could have gotten the Ace already.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I don't play a lot of Acer. Yeah.
So new remote. Get the magnets and the lead piping. Server 1.
Then take a credit, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not very scary, that server right now, because we can't res very much ice on it.
Yeah.
But if we've got a credit, it becomes scary. We're not currently doing what we set out to do, but we are winning, which is arguably the point of the game.
Yeah. 1/5 of the way through the deck, not a single run event.
Yeah, that is rough. That is really rough, Dracon. Res our Rashida.
Oh.
Oh, we can do it now. We can do it
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
It will
yeah.
let you do it now.
Okay.
It will get cross with you, but it will let you.
Okay, let's do that then. Res.
It will tell you that you shouldn't do that, and then
Yeah.
let you do it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Which is a terrible way to assert authority.
Cool. I'm going to say hedge fund, off-world, advance.
Yeah, I think so. In no way, shape, or form following our game plan, but
well, I mean, baiting someone through one of the
okay.
one of the Hakars is part of the game plan.
Okay.
Tataka.
Yeah, they right to run off.
Why are they right to run archives? Oh,
because they're going to build an Amakua. So we do now need to protect archives.
Yeah,
we can't.
yeah.
I don't think we can score that this turn. Protecting archives becomes the priority.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, we don't want that, but that's fine. Maybe the Ansel on archives.
Yeah, I think draw first because, like, what else are we doing for the rest of the time?
Fine, yeah. We're going to play that and then install the Ansel.
Yeah.
So the fun part is, so we've got
If they
19
get Hermes
credits. Can we keep them out of everywhere? It seems that we don't get to worry about that this turn. Okay, cool. Score out the off-world.
Mm-hmm. And now you've got your nice pivot play next turn. So gatekeeper's a liability anyway. So I think let the boomerang get eaten. Let them diversion us.
Mm-hmm.
Diversion's not that big a deal right now.
Yeah. I reckon I want to res the spin doctor to dilute HQ.
Sure.
Oh no, it's diversion of funds.
Yeah.
No reason to at all. Okay. Have your money. That's Rashida.
We want to do our pivot play. Get a Djupstad into server 1 and then install.
We don't have a Djupstad though. I think let's res the spin doctor and see if it gives us one.
Okay.
Pivot is operational
it's
agenda.
Only operation.
Yeah.
So you want the opposite of what we have. That's not what we need.
Embarrassment
right
of Maryland's. Okay. So I think we could just do the ontological naked.
I mean, you mean in server 1, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I mean naked without any core damage.
Yeah.
I think I've got the fun play here. If we do this and then install salvo testing, if we do this and get salvo testing
and install it, because we can, right?
Yeah, but
and then double advance it. I think we should do that. I think that's a really fun play. It says, come and run the remote now, which they cannot do.
Yeah. Salvo testing. Salvo testing. So 1. Not going to do that. It is only a single advance, which is a bit ugly.
Yeah.
5 and then. And we'll just get 1 Marilyn, I think.
I would lose the ontological because then it can't be stolen this time.
Good shout.
Fine.
That
We shouldn't be letting them do this, but like we don't want a gatekeeper rezzed on HQ. I don't think.
Even though they'll get an Amakua counter.
I mean, they're going to get it anyway because they're going to use. You can res it if you want. It's not that big a difference. Like leaving it unrezzed is as bad as having it rezzed. Worse even.
Because they've got the boomerang, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I say, it's not a big deal either way. We do want the credits for the remote.
Yeah. We've got bravado.
Seamless wins us the game.
Overguard doesn't. So I think Marilyn on HQ.
Magnet on HQ?
Yeah, Magnet on HQ. Maybe draw Magnet advance, I think.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Just thinking about how much ice we've got to res on the remote to actually keep them out. And it's quite a bit, but we've got enough money.
So.
Oh, yeah, we do want to do this.
Where's the drafter?
Yeah, because it's going to fire.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to get back?
Get back pivot.
Yeah, good job.
And install Rashida.
Just
naked somewhere.
Naked. Right, sure. Sadly, we don't have a piece of ice to put on it, which is a shame.
No. Okay, that's a bit of a fuck though.
Okay, so they've got 15. I think we can res 2 Hakals, and we should.
What's our other piece of ice there?
Ansel. Maybe not then.
I think we should res 1 of each. I think that Ansel fires.
Yeah.
I think we don't res the outer Hakal.
Okay.
I think we res the Ansel.
Yeah.
And potentially kill the Kurapira with it.
Yeah. So, where's the Ansel?
Okay. Well, now we don't mind because they can't steal it anyway. So.
I think let's install the Marilyn.
Yeah. In our remote.
Yeah. The remote.
Now we don't need to res the Hakal because
they can't steal or trash the agenda.
Yeah. Yep. It is GG now. Let them in and let them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got very unlucky on draw.
Yeah.
And we got very lucky on draw.
That went better than this deck often has, to be honest with you.
Oh, we got plenty of time for another game.
You do. Let's set it up. Let's choose a side. So yeah, we didn't do a single core damage there.
No.
And I guess we were in terms of demonstrating the deck, we were slightly unlucky that the runner didn't seem to get their plan together.
I think describing that game as unlucky in any fashion is churlish, to say the least. Recon Ian has come back for another go.
Hey. Maybe just wants to know how to find us. Let's see.
They can stream snipe us if they want. Yay.
Yeah, no, they've gone to watch.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe we can have a bit of chat in the chat while we're waiting for a new contender. Yeah, I mean, obviously they did get a bit unlucky with the draw. I think they played that quite well. Like there was a moment when we didn't have a card to de-res with Hakal.
Yeah.
But most of the time we had a spin doctor or something similar on the table where we could have resed and de-resed it in order to void Hakal's click-through ability.
We got quite close to the line with credits.
Yes. Yeah, you can see how they get eaten up so quickly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be interesting. Dave, this is going to be very interesting.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is all right as a starting hand, to be honest with you. It'd be nice to have another piece of ice, but I don't hate it. It'd be nice not to have the pivot either, but I think it's in the top half of all potential hands, so I think it's a keeper.
Cool. Right. We want a second piece of ice, or don't we? Or even
Yes.
a third.
Definitely don't want two pivots.
Those things.
I think hedge. Rashida Drafter is a bit annoying, isn't it? Rashida Drafter is not what you want.
Drafter on the remote is not hugely what you want. I think we want to draw once.
Yeah. Okay.
That's horrible.
Yep. Okay.
You could make it look like you've got a defensive upgrade on your remote by putting Vovo as Eti.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think Rashida Vovo and then a drafter on top of it. And hope that that's sufficiently fearsome. It'd be really nice to be able to play the hedge fund as well, but
I think you do play the hedge fund as well, or you put a drafter on HQ because a Chastushka is a card. Anyway,
no. Okay, yeah, draft on HQ and Vovo on HQ. I think is the play.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And we need to remember the thing that I always forget with ESSA, which is just keep loads and loads of cards in hand. So, wow, they've put down Killer, which is pretty annoying, seeing as we've only got a sentry on the board.
Mm-hmm. And they put it down quite cheaply. Though right now they haven't got enough credits to actually break our drafter. Should be noted they could break one subroutine on it, because Num is very expensive to use. Just going for a single off R&D.
And they didn't find this war very interesting. Okay. Tattoo Bowler. Cool. So.
We still haven't got what we really want.
Yeah,
so
I think draw again. Definitely don't want that.
Draw again and then Tati Rashida in the remote.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Then hopefully we find things. You don't want to use up your spin doctors in this match. But we do want to find a spin doctor because we don't really want a salvo testing sat at HQ and not enough ice to do anything with it. But we could, maybe we find a mana gum or something that makes that remote like. Yeah, sure.
Yep. Hey, it's little Vovo saying, "I'm helping. I'm helping."
Like, this isn't terrible for us. They will have to spend all of their money.
Mm-hmm.
And then, admittedly, they could still have 5-3, which would be a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, we could do the real baller play of installing the 5-3 into server 1 with the drafter.
I think we would probably. Okay.
It's a 1 in 6.
Our odds are good.
Yeah, it's a 1 in 6. Oh, hang on. Oh, they've broken the install routine, so that's the moot point. Okay. Cool. Feel free to trust the pivot should you wish to with all of your credits. Feel free to trash Vovo with all of your credits but 1 should you wish to. I'm pretty happy with how that went, to be honest with you, Jessica.
Yeah.
And tenderhooks, what's the last action going to be? Cool. Okay. I will res Rashida and not get told off this time. Cool. Okay. So.
We want to get that Djupstad in the remote.
Yes. The question is, which agenda do we want to put in there with it?
I think Elvigar bifurcation.
I think so as well. Yeah.
We possibly want to. Yeah, I think we want to do that. I think we want to make what looks like a clown car remote.
If we put the Elvigar in, clicks 2 and 3 are scoring it.
Yeah, agreed.
We
do then have to sabotage this time.
We do. How come?
because we're doing core damage to Esther.
I'm okay with that. We've got too many cards in hand anyway. We'd have to be discarding at the end. With
Okay.
all 3 pivots in hand.
Yeah, we could probably literally get rid of 2 pivots, and I'm fine with it. We've got the card that we want from pivot. Do we actually have the money to do this?
Yes.
We're really broke after this if we do this, is my only thing.
Okay. Let's put it off for a turn.
Mhm.
But let's do the install. So I think hedge, government, install.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Wrong way around. The agenda goes first.
Really...
The agenda goes first.
It's a huge help, but... And then we lose a pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is correct. No,
you don't need to move.
No, you can stay.
Oh, wow.
So they guinea pigged. That's nice.
Okay. Yeah.
They've now got 1 click left.
They drew again. Okay, we don't have any start turn triggers we want to get.
Nope.
Okay, so advance. There's Djupstad. And score Avagar.
We're not going to de-res anything, sadly.
No, we're not. No. You're going to do a core damage. I'm tempted to say both pivots.
I'm tempted to say both pivots as well. And then I think we install the Hakal.
Yeah.
And then we don't de-res the card. We install the Hakal and the Luminal in the remote. The sad thing about losing those pivots is that they were our way of getting ontologicals out.
Yes, I agree. It would have been nice to have them, but I'd rather have the cards in hand. I guess we could have chucked a Spin Doctor maybe, but I think we should put them back in the deck with the Spin Doctor.
So you install the Hakal first, and then you can install the Luminal, right?
No, the other way around.
Okay.
Yes, we'll move over to server 1. Thank you very much.
They're probably going to steal our 5/3 this turn.
Annoyingly, we're fully set up for this.
We should have kept our pivots. They're now really good.
Yeah.
We should have seen this coming. Those pivots could have won us the game. That's a shame.
Yes. Yeah, they would have been ontological, pivot ontological, pivot ontological, pivot ontological, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's the 6 points right now.
We got too excited about Djupstad grids.
It's easily done.
So whatever it is something they can't res. They can't trash. Or I'm fairly certain they would have.
Yeah.
Which is good for us.
Okay, that Gatekeeper, I would be very glad to put an R&D. But let's...
Do you think we trash our salvo testing?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's not doing
we
us any
spin
good where
doctor
it
it back
is.
at some point. And then we probably want to draw a couple of times and get
I would
draw at
like
least
to.
once.
I'd like to install both of the. I think install the spin doctor, and res it to draw.
Mm-hmm. Then don't install it in the remote. Just probably. What do you think?
I
No,
don't
maybe
think it
don't install
matters
it in the
loads
remote.
because I want to immediately get pivots back in our deck.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to do that. Nice. Then I think ooh,
Shore up R&D.
yeah, gatekeeper
Put
on
the
R&D, and it would be nice.
agenda in the remote.
Yeah. Actually, I don't want to put the agenda in the remote.
I think they'll steal it if we don't.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 4 credits to sweep the whole of HQ right now.
No. So that's 3. Definitely want him where he is. Thank you very much. I'm going to check out the drafter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's off-world's gone in there. Fine.
They definitely should have run our spin doctor before doing that.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been a sensible play. Okay, they're labor. Oh no, they're labor rights thing. What are they trying to recur here? I wonder. They're recurring a labor rights. They're recurring a guinea pig, and they're recurring a Torga.
Cool.
Okay.
I think
I'd like to spin doctor here now.
but we want to save that spin doctor for the agendas, Dave. There's 5 points of agendas in archives. But I know what you mean, but like it's 5 points of agendas in archives.
And a spin doctor and the pivots that we need.
I see your point, and I'm not.
I reckon an off-world and a spin doctor back in.
Okay.
That's what I think.
And that at least makes them think that there's not stuff that we want in archives.
So
we can currently that's a how many core damage have they taken? 4. So that's a 0-2. We don't need to score that right now. We can draw first.
Yeah.
In fact, we want to score it right at the end of our turn because then we've got the most options for what. Maybe we do score it now and then thing in the remote.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to have our economy cards. I'd like to keep our economy cards if we can.
If we can score that agenda, though, Dave, we can win the game.
Okay, sure. So we'll drop government subsidy. Should we drop both of them?
Yeah.
Jesus, it's marrow sabotage 3. That's pretty rough.
Got about marrow sabotage, and then we chuck that in the remote. And we hope.
Yeah, I would be really glad to de-res flipping Djupstad right now. Can I trash it? When I put something in the remote?
Well, I mean, when we score that agenda, we win the game, Dave. So it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But you can trash it.
You know, we should have done that the last time we installed something in there. But anyway.
Yeah, we probably should have. Yeah, we definitely should have.
Behemoths. So that server is not safe at all. The question is where.
And they're presumably going to run out.
Yeah.
So the game now becomes: can we find the ontologicals fast enough?
Yeah.
And it's like a strength 8, isn't it? That Benjamin.
Yes. Yeah. And it's one click to. Have they got server testing now? They have got server testing. Yeah.
Oh, that's a very interesting. So, the seamless is we haven't got any pivots.
Yeah.
And the other two ontologicals win us the game.
Yeah. And a code gate with an end of run subroutine on the remote probably keeps us safe for a short while. But they have got through a lot of their deck. Okay, that's another tattoo bowler. Not what we want. I think draw multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That works.
Maybe trash the Hakal. I don't think it's worth resing at this point.
Yeah.
Trash the Hakal, install the Gatekeeper, advanced ones.
Yeah. No, Vovo's very happy where he is. Thank you.
Now the race is on.
So.
They've drawn a lot.
They have drawn a lot.
It's this click. Do they have a buzzsaw in hand? And even then, does a buzzsaw get them 3? Actually,
6
so spent
strength.
4 installing it. I don't think a buzzsaw gets them through.
Mm. Annoyingly, we're going to be 1 credit short of what we need to.
Well, we've got a Vovo, so it's really cheap to res.
Oh yeah, happy days. Let's draw all the cards.
We don't shuffle anything.
Yeah. There's the seamless we ordered.
And we did get lucky there, to be fair. Not drawing any agendas.
Yeah.
I think this is the second game in a row where I feel like it's an interesting matchup. Yeah, it's seamless for the prestige.
Got to be done.
They took 7 core damage that game. Most of it
from us.
Most of it from us.
Yeah, in retrospect, I mean, not trashing the Djupstad as soon as they got 2, 3, or 4 was a poor play on our side, I think.
Yeah. And not keeping those pivots, not recognizing those pivots win us the game on the spot. Not keeping at least 1, you know?
Yeah.
But we're doing very well with this deck. I've got 1 more in me tonight, I think.
Yeah. Okay, let me just go grab a glass of water and then
Sure.
let's do the last one.
Let's see if we've got anything going on in chat. No, we don't. That's okay. I've been very excited about this spoiler season. I think we've got some amazing cards. I think the one set of cards that we've not really talked about tonight are the Anarch cards, and I think that they're gonna. I think that blows this meta wide open. That new Anarch ID, because this meta's.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just about to say this meta's been all about R plus, and I think the new Anarch ID. Let's not.
Not play the world champion. I mean, he's wanting to.
I mean, it would
anyway.
be. It would be. We should have actually had the guts to just go. Yeah, let's do it. Let's play soccer. Let's go lose against soccer. He would have absolutely demolished us, and it would have been very, very funny. Oh yeah, sorry, Dave, but definitely. I'm very confident of it.
It depends what deck he was playing.
True. And maybe he'd get as unlucky with draw as our previous two opponents.
It's possible. This deck,
of course,
this is probably the best winning streak I've ever had with this deck. Let's be clear. I have won some games with it, but not lots.
Okay.
Okay. I think mulligan this.
Yeah, I think probably.
Pivot, don't want at this stage, and there's no economy in
There's no econ.
Yeah.
Marginally better.
Yeah. Yeah. There's plays here.
Yeah.
So I think Marilyn.
Start turn. See what we get.
Yeah, of course. Nice. Well, that's lots of ice. That's good.
Marilyn Tatibola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drafter on R&D. Take a credit. What this deck doesn't do that AC usually wants to do is it doesn't make loads of promotes.
Yeah. Yeah. I did look at having fully operational in here, but it doesn't really make sense for how many you end up with. Like this, these games have been as horizontal as this deck gets, I think.
Yeah, and at one point we had 2 remotes.
Yeah, exactly. And for fully operational, you need them to be iced as well to give you money. And it's not like it's light on ice, really. Okay, overclock. So we'll probably.
I think we're happy to res this.
Yeah. I think so, and we'll
do the thing.
Yeah. So propeller comes down.
And then we do
Magnet, I think.
Do you think not Gatekeeper? I think Gatekeeper is really good value for what we're trying to do.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Oh, we could put both on.
We could put the Tatibola back.
Yeah, let's put the Tatibola back. I'd like that even better, yeah. And I think not res the Marilyn.
Don't res the Marilyn.
Yeah, I'd rather have.
If they want to go down to 2 credits, let them.
Yeah. Well, how many have they got left on overclock? So it's only one effective.
Yeah. No, they've gone down. They've gone down to 2 credits, and they're probably correct to do so.
And you may watch. Yes, of course.
Could also link them to our stream, so they can watch even harder.
Okay, running HQ. Options. Ah, damn. That's the one thing we didn't want them to hit. But never mind.
I'm okay with them going to 0 credits.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
I think that was a good turn for us and a bad turn for them.
Drawing, I think.
Drawing. Yeah.
Nice.
Drawing again.
Even nicer.
Yeah, putting that in the remote.
Yeah. And sadly, not doing anything else, I think.
Yeah, I think it's safe, to be honest.
Yeah. I think it's safe, and we want to save the credits. There's no point in throwing 3 of our 7 out for a install costs.
For what it's worth, I don't think you actually managed to put the link into the chat. I think you accidentally copied and pasted it, and then when you pressed enter, it cancelled it. They're going to struggle to get ladder value this time because they've got no way of playing any of their cards.
Oh! Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
I think we should probably play again, though.
Yeah, I will take one more.
I was about to suggest to them that we had a rematch, but they left too quickly.
I don't know if it's coming through on the mic, but you might be able to hear. I've been away for a few days. My cat. Now I'm back. My cats are very keen to see me.
Oh,
they're not
nice.
allowed in the kitchen, so you can hear the occasional meow. That's that.
Yeah. Hey. You say Okay, Mercury.
Hello, Mercury.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hate this hand.
No, I'm happy with it, I think.
As long as you don't draw like a salvo testing,
I
think we can do both centrals in a remote with a Marilyn and feel happy about it.
Yeah. So Marilyn Tattoo Bowler again, I think.
Yep. Gatekeeper H.
Yeah.
And possibly if they possibly like just lose real hard on one, but we'll see what happens. I'd love for that Marilyn to be a Rashida, to be honest. What are you saying, Dave? For our viewers at home.
I'm saying we'll chat about your plays too if you want to watch back, but we won't be overly critical because our opponent has said they're a newer player.
Yeah, it's a reasonable thing to say.
Yeah. So the fun play here would be for them to try and make us res as much as possible and go down on our credits.
Yeah, I think that would absolutely be the correct play. We would res the Gatekeeper because we like those draws on the Gatekeeper, and ideally we want to res the Gatekeeper second, draw some eye so that we could then res the Tatty Bowler, and that would be what we want. I don't think we'd res the Drafter. Oh, sugar puffs.
Shit.
Right. Well, fair enough.
Oh, damn. Well, that was a good play by them. Take the ontological, please. That's it. Yeah, go on.
They're going to take both of them, Dave. This is the one thing that we
The one
didn't
thing we
want
didn't
to
want you
happen.
to do. Yuck. Grim, 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 grim.
No, I love. I could explain to you why that's a bad play, and I would
I'm going to res the Marilyn.
obviously be wrong because it's a play that's just gotten
Yeah.
them 3 points. Yeah. Okay.
I think just drawing.
Yeah, drawing and then covering archives.
Tattoo Burler on archives.
Yeah.
And sadly, we don't have another agenda card to install. Okay.
There's an argument for installing the Marilyn naked there because we don't really care if they go into HQ again.
It has
this
to be
time.
the same server.
No, but I mean, there's an argument that we
Oh.
install the Marilyn naked, keep the Tatty Bowler, and do the Tatty Bowler next turn. We don't actually care if they come into HQ
And
and see cards that they can't trash.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Kurapira. Oh, and Tread Lightly. So
I don't think we want to res it on a Tread Lightly turn.
not for 6. No, I don't think so.
Not when there's nothing we can get back from archives as well. So we're gonna have to let them see 2.
Yeah,
they could win the game on this.
That would be really funny, wouldn't it? After I was like, "Hey, we can tell you where your plays went right or wrong." So far, their play.
Not that say.
Yeah, their plays are going relatively well, I'd say. Were you being facetious about the sneak door and why that was a bad play?
I wouldn't go down to 1 credit to go and check what's in HQ.
Yeah.
But on this occasion, it was 100% the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it wouldn't have been the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
So I think we're drawing, possibly installing the Marilyn naked.
Yeah. I don't feel this. Yeah, I think you saw the. I'd like want to draw again and install the Marilyn naked last. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because they're expensive to trash.
Do we want to give it an Ansel?
No. If they get Amakur down, we can deal with that problem when it happens.
I feel like the deck could do with another upgrade or 2. I mean, there's lots of things it can do with, and it would be over deck size, so they aren't in there. But it would be nice to have more upgrades to get more of the triggers. I'm going down to 0 trashing it. Please go ahead. But I would not advise it. Okay, so
Draw.
That's interesting.
I think we want a second piece of ice on R&D because that's how we lose right now.
I'm going to suggest it's an Ansel.
Yeah.
And I think probably not doing the double install.
How about if we install a Spin Doctor and an Ablative in front of it? And then if they run it, we can de-res the Marilyn. Can we? No, I'm talking nonsense. No, we can install a Marilyn.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh wait, is that only threat 3? I'm talking absolute gubbins, aren't I?
We're on threat 3, Jessica.
Oh, we're on threat 3.
That amazing play that they made. Yeah. New right. Let's do it.
And then a second piece of ice in front of R&D, which will have to be an Ansel.
Yeah.
They're not currently running unresed ice.
Yes.
It does look like an agenda, This is when you're playing with a newer player. The difficult thing is it looks like an agenda, but they don't necessarily know it looks like an agenda. Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's a nice setup. I'm tempted to res the spin doctor now.
Definitely.
See what we get. Nice.
That's nice. Let's start building a remote by putting a Rashida in it.
Yeah, I reckon Rashida in server 1 and then an Ansel to go with it.
Yeah. Bearing in mind they're likely to inside job stuff, but so we might want to
cap it off with something smaller.
Yeah. Let's do that. And then maybe we go.
I think Vovo in there definitely.
Yeah. You even go Vovo Magnet, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Or is that a little bit rich?
Or
do we go Vovo and then put the Marilyn in a naked remote and invite them to go down to 0 again?
Yes. I think if they run the Marin this time, I'd like to res it first and get it back into the to R&D.
I think we've got one in there, and we've got another we can get back with Spin Doctor, and we've got other.
Okay, no, we do have a Spin Doctor on the table that we'll probably want to use sooner rather than later. Yeah, okay.
And Vovo's an econ asset.
Vovo's an econ asset, yeah. Sadly, Vovo's threat 4. I'd be much happier if it was threat 3. That's for resing stuff in the remote in the server.
Okay, they've sorted out their econ. So we res Marilyn and res Spin Doctor. Don't res Vovo.
Yeah. Rashida, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Rashida and
Marilyn.
Cool. Well, that's cool. I'm happy to see the Manigar.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a salvo testing or a Djupstad or a Hakar. I feel like
we've got quite a safe remote there.
Yeah, I think the Managarm should go in server 1 and the Magnet should go there as well.
Yeah. And then do we just shove the ontological in there and
why
get on with our life?
Did server just vanish? Did a server just vanish?
We fired the Rashida. The server didn't vanish. A card disappeared from the server. Because it's Rashida and it fired and it trashed itself.
Oh, no, asking about server 2.
What was in server 2?
Don't remember.
Server 2 still. I mean, we could work it out from whatever's in the trash.
It was
Guess it was Marilyn.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel we want to put Managarm and Magnet on server 1.
Yeah, and then do we want to shove salvo testing in there with pivot? Or is that wild? Like, I feel like
no, we do want to. We do want to. That's really good because they'll really struggle to get in there. Yeah. I like that a lot. So that was Managarm in server 1. and then pivot to draw servo testing, put it in there as well.
Yeah. Then it's going to be a slightly rough. Yeah, I don't like the scoring pattern for this salvo testing at all, even with pivot.
Oh yeah, we're going to be one short with seamless, aren't we?
Yeah, unless we draw the second seamless.
That would be cool. Career fair. No free lunch.
No, sweetie. No, sweetie, that's not how you want to install No Free Lunch. It's free
Ooh.
already.
Oh yeah, no, that's
I would, yeah.
that's
So
not
Career
the best way.
Fair is 3 clickless credits if you're watching this later, friend.
Mhm.
And No Free Lunch is free to install anyway. So you're not saving yourself any money.
Okay, so we've got a Djupstad. We could
Install advance.
install advance, and then we've got seamless for next time and spare clicks. Yeah, cool. Not this time.
Yeah, not this time.
But this is so clown car, isn't it? France.
Mm-hmm. I think we.
Oh, you listening to the stream as well as playing?
I'm fine with that. With a newer player, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's okay. Hermes. Okay.
That means we will want to use the seamless, even though we don't need to.
Yes, because then we'll get the an extra click to reinstall whatever it was. Laser pointer. We were just chatting about this at the start of the stream.
Cool.
Listening,
Just listening, not watching.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So,
No worries. We'll make a point of not describing too much to make the game fun for you. So using the sneak door to come here. I think we want to res the tattoo bowler.
do we want to give them? I mean, it's only going to be how much does it cost them to break? Literally 1.
But it means they don't get to see 2 from Mercury, right? And
Yeah,
I don't want them to steal the ontological.
So it costs you 1 to break, or you can bounce. You now know that we have an ontological in HQ.
Hopefully they take the decision before they hear that part. One of the things I found about playing this deck is quite a lot of players hate the idea of you getting the replace effect from Tattoo Bowler, but they'll bounce off it even when they could go through. Which is particularly funny when you may or may not have an ice in hand to do that with. Oh, it's glitching. It won't let you break. That's interesting.
Don't know why that would be. Kurapira should definitely break that.
Yeah.
If you are you clicking Kurapira? Yeah, retry the
Yes.
click.
Maybe go ahead over there.
Then you want to click Kurapira, and it should have an option that just says match and break all the subroutines.
It will be a pain to do this manually because of the Mercury trigger.
Yeah.
Although I think they'll get a what's the word?
They can choose to only look
They
at
can
one.
choose whether to what's the word? Activate the ability.
Make sure you're not clicking laser pointer rather than Kurapira. Kurapira is the one you want to do. We were just talking earlier about how laser pointers seen absolutely no play, of course.
The only option is to let it fire.
Are you clicking the ice or are you clicking the icebreaker? So you need to click the icebreaker that you want to use.
Okay.
Okay. That's really strange.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Cool. Let's let them in. We have no.
Sadly. 1 and 3, 1 and 3. Nice. There's the Marilyn. Oh. How did they? Oh, they've got Docklands, of course.
Of course. Oh, we got very lucky there then, didn't we?
Thank goodness that we I didn't even think about that we used the tattoo bowler. We did get very lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the spin doctor. Good to have. So seamless.
Res Djupstad.
So, advance.
I think we could win this turn, Dave.
Oh no.
Yeah, undo that. I think we win this turn.
If we don't over-res our eyes for no reason, quite possibly. How would we win
we don't win this turn. Sorry, I miscalculated. I thought we could just score ontological out of hand, but we can't.
Sadly, no. But we can set ourselves up to score next turn, I think. Where's that come from? Oh, one of the eyes from... Yeah, I guess we probably want to reinstall that just to cover our back as they're on 3 agenda points.
What is our ice currently on R&D?
It's Ansel.
Ansel. Yeah. How many credits do we have?
We have 3 credits.
So there's no point doing that either, because we can't res anything. I think we just get what we need to in the remote and get on with our lives.
Yeah. Okay. Nope.
No.
Okay. I see no reason to res the Ansel. I see that we don't have the credits to res the Ansel.
I would use the spin doctor to increase the decrease the engender density of HQ.
Yeah, sounds good. I think a pivot and a seamless back in.
Yeah, that's correct.
Happy days. Whiffed on that access.
For what it's worth, this game looks very different if they hadn't missed that 2 out of 3.
Yeah, agreed.
We do want to. I think we do want to shuffle that Marilyn back.
Yep. There's a Rashida. So, advance, score.
Yeah. We won.
We've won.
Thank you so much for the game.
Yeah.
I think it will be interesting to watch back and see what was happening on both sides of the table. I think that's a really good thing for a newer player to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And sorry if this was a bit of an obnoxious deck to play against. It's not the most fun. But yeah, well played. Enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Did we win every game, Dave?
We did. We did win every game.
Amazing. What a way to end this meta. You cracked it. you cracked the meta.
Best look at this. It's
not often someone makes an unbeaten deck.
No, indeed. So, I mean, sadly, this was beaten before we started playing on stream once. And you can see
by the looks of it. Yeah,
you can see its previous iterations: 20% win rate, 29%, 67 on version 5.
It's getting better.
It's going steadily up, actually.
Fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, this really is the best meta ever. I mean, yeah, who can gainsay that after that result?
What a way to finish! Right, shall we say good night to our wonderful viewers?
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was.
I'm looking forward to updating this deck with a couple of the new cards. I think there's 1 or 2 that might work in it, but I'm really happy with how it's performed today. Actually, can't ask for better than that.
Fingers crossed this time next week we'll be playing with completely new cards.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to chatting on Sunday on Daily Casts and to the remainder of the preview season. Huge shout out to everyone who's been involved in making that happen and the spoiling. Looking forward to the community spoils as well.
Absolutely. I'm just going to give a little trailer. This time next week you might hear my new voice. So
awesome.
Something that might be premiering. I've been trying it out a little bit.
Even more previews.
If I'm feeling confident enough, you'll hear it live next week.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks to everyone.
Dave.
Thank you to everyone for spending time with us and to everyone who played a game with us. Yeah, it's been great. We will see you very soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.